and it worked partially. So my UFE ended up working partially, right? So there were several fibroids that died, but the main two still have vascularity, so it was still. So I was filming another video, and I thought about you all, how many people were interested in what happened with my post-recovery with my UFE. So I thought, let me just go ahead and make a very long overdue update. Forgive my voice, it's a little bit hoarse. It's currently March 2026. I had the UFE December 2025. Let me first say, obviously, that this is just my own experience that I'm sharing. I definitely don't want it to, influence you one way or the other, but just so you know my story. So I had made some updates, I think, like right after I had that procedure. I was in kind of a lot of pain. That pain persisted a very long time. And at some point in December or the beginning of January, I was still on those pain meds. I wasn't drinking a lot, so I think I got very dehydrated. And I remember feeling like I was gonna pass out or something. And I actually ended up in the ER to get fluids and just to be monitored. And then once I got fluids, I felt a lot better. So I guess one thing I would say is, in all of it, especially if you're taking, a bunch of meds, pain meds, whatever meds, make sure that you are hydrated, because it could get real crazy in your body. I probably stopped bleeding for about 3 weeks, maybe, in January, 2 to 3 weeks, maybe. And then, but I was still in pain a lot through the whole period, especially my left side. So I do remember my IR saying that he had to do extensive blocking or whatever on my left side. So that left side bothered me for months, okay? Not at the same intensity, but like certainly if I had started to do too much, even at the grocery store, I would need to like lean on that cart, or if I was driving too much, like I would get that sharp aching pain in my left side. I don't know if I talked about my IR, my interventional radiologist. Oh, that was a disaster. I actually ended up making a complaint to UCLA about that, just because from my experience there, my aftercare, all of it was so lacking. I ended up reporting that. So because the pain was still going on in January, I ended up going to the South. So I have a house in the South where there's no stairs. So out here in LA, I'm up like a 3-story walk up, okay? Which was just a lot considering how unwell I was feeling. So I went down there because there's no steps. There's even like a ramp that I built for my mom at one point. And I was on TRX, so that tranexamic acid, to try to stop the bleeding. They gave me that. It worked off and on. But let me say this, ladies, and this else, I mean, it's probably obvious. I don't know why it was not obvious to me. You got to keep a handle on the bleeding. I think because I had been bleeding so much, I didn't understand, like, that it's very important to take that medicine, make sure your bleeding stops. I think I thought, I'd had the UFE, I stopped bleeding, I thought this was, maybe it's my cycle. I didn't really know what to make of it. So I stayed in the South for like a month until I started to, in some ways, feel better. I did start to notice a lot of things. I was getting very tired very fast. I was doing a lot of work down there, and I would like bend over and come up and be like dizzy. Somehow I didn't recognize that was crazy. I was super out of breath, and I think I had started to bleed again, and I didn't have medicine down there, so I had to like transfer some prescriptions. But I thought to myself, I don't feel great. So I actually went to an urgent care there at the hospital, where they were, and I was like, I think I need my blood tested. They didn't test blood at this hospital in South Carolina. Okay. So I was so exhausted. I think the prescription was ready, so I took it. I went, got the prescription, went back to my house, and a couple of days later, I came back to LA. And I remember I was on the phone with my aunt one day because I'm still having the bleeding, still having some pain, but it's better, much better than it was in the beginning. But it was just, you know, a lingering issue. And I remember I was on the phone with my aunt because I still didn't feel good. So I made it an appointment at urgent care, and I was like, maybe I'll go, maybe I won't. But I was on the phone with my aunt, and we were talking, and then I said something like, yeah, you know, he said he was going to call me tomorrow. And she was like, who? And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know why I said that. That's weird. And then I said, I think I'm going to keep that appointment at the urgent care. So I go to urgent care. They test my blood like they could not do in that urgent care at the hospital in South Carolina. And he was like, you don't have any blood. You got to go to the ER right now, and you need a blood transfusion. You could have a heart attack right now. And I'm just exhausted. I'm cold. You know how you are when you're sick. So I was like, well, can I go tomorrow? And the guy was like so over me. He was like, lady, I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is you can have a heart attack. You need to go. So I was like, all right. I came home. I grabbed some clothes because I cannot stand being cold in a hospital. So I think I grabbed like a heating pad and some clothes. And I was like, I'll just drive myself, even though I was very loopy, okay? So I get on the highway to drive myself. I get 4 minutes down the road, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna pass out. I don't think I can make it to the hospital. The hospital's only 15 minutes. It's just over the hill. But I was like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. So I turned around, came home, and called my friend and was like, I need to go to the hospital. I'm not doing well. So she took me, and they took me back. I went to UCLA, which is rough, y'all. That's why I didn't want to go that night, because it was like 7. And anybody who lives in the city knows the ER is no place to be at night. So it was just, I mean, you know, the rest of UCLA is, of course, clean and whatever. But, man, that ER was rough. Rough. Rough, dirty, and rough. And you know, they don't have any beds. Everybody's just separated by a little sheet. There's people with mental illness. There's people from all different places, can't control their bodily functions, not enough staff. So it was just rough. So anyway, they finally came down. They were like, okay, we're gonna give you a blood transfusion. One nurse kept trying to talk me out of getting the blood transfusion. She was some kind of nut. Sorry, but so they gave me 1 pint of blood, and then everybody just disappeared. I couldn't find anybody. They never came back. I think they might have tested. I don't even know if they tested my blood. Did they test it and I got back up to 7 or 7.5 or something? Maybe. I might be remembering that wrong. But I remember going, like, nobody was coming back. I asked several times. I went to go to the bathroom. The bathroom was so filthy. I came out and I said, I'm leaving right now. Because I figured, you know, at least I had my blood numbers up enough that I wasn't going to have a heart attack. So I got fully dressed with the IV in my arm, and the nurse saw me. She's like, oh, she took the IV out. I left. So I was there for hours. So that was like 6 hours after being in that hospital. So that sort of continued. Then I found another doctor who at least finally like took my symptoms seriously, and he made sure I like ended up with 5 iron transfusions and, you know, really a lot to build my blood back up. He really wanted to do that UFE again. But he was kind of an interesting doctor too. I kind of felt like, you know, I wasn't sure if the UFE was good. I'm like, I already had one, failed very fast. I was in so much pain. The recovery was so much worse than I thought. I didn't really know if I wanted to do another one. But I had agreed, but then I just started to feel like it was too pushy. And I kept pushing the date back. And then all of a sudden I was in this last December. And then I knew my insurance was changing. Love the US, that we're making all these choices based on our insurance, right? So I just didn't want to repeat the UFE, not knowing if I was going to have the same doctors, what my aftercare was going to look like. So anyway, I still haven't done it. I haven't done anything since then. I am on progesterone 4 times a day to keep that bleeding at bay. Otherwise, I would bleed out and need either more transfusions or, you know, something terrible would happen. And I haven't decided what I'm gonna do next. You know, I looked up different things because I have multiple fibroids, and it worked partially. So my UFE ended up working partially, right? So there were several fibroids that died, but the main 2 still have vascularity, so it was still receiving blood flow. But because there's so many in my uterus lining isn't smooth, I think that's why I still have all this heavy bleeding. Because let me tell you something, if I miss that progesterone, or if I start to get slack and only start to take it once a day or twice a day, that bleeding comes back with a vengeance. I'm talking about bleeding, clots, real bad stuff. And pain. Like, I probably would deal, maybe, I mean, I know I shouldn't, but the bleeding is awful, but the pain that now accompanies it is just not sustainable, not tolerable. So it's tough, ladies. What are we gonna do? I don't really want to go through that pain of another UFE that fails. I feel like a hysterectomy is a lot. Like, I don't really want to do that. I'd read some other things about how you could sort of have this type of myomectomy that shaves the fibroids down that are distorting the lining of your uterus. So I had made an appointment with a specialist 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, but I didn't end up making that appointment because my insurance did change. So I have to find a different specialist. But that seemed like it would make more sense, because unless I did the UFE and those fibroids shrank significantly, I don't know why the bleeding would stop, because my inner lining is still so distorted. So, ladies, I wish I had better news. I do wish that I had better news, but I do not. I've been on progesterone for 6 months. October, November, December, January, February, March, April. March. Yeah, I've been on progesterone for 6 months. That, taken properly, does stop the bleeding. Sometimes I even will kind of stop taking it or slow down taking it on purpose, because I'm like, am I in menopause? Did it work? Am I all of a sudden not bleeding anymore? Girl, that bleeding comes right back. So I don't know what to do. It's hard because, you know, also I felt like I was having some perimenopausal symptoms, like that brain fog stuff. But you can't do like any estrogen, any HRT and stuff like while you've got this fibroid issue, while you're taking all of this progesterone. So I'm just stuck. I asked one doctor about the depot shot, because I do remember I've had some friends that took that shot and their period stopped completely. And I was like, oh, maybe that would be a stopgap, but one doctor didn't recommend it. So ladies, I don't have any answers. You know, of course, I'm in groups. Some people have this procedure and it works great. I was not a lucky one. Now, I did have many fibroids. They said too many to count. None of them were huge, though. Like, my largest one was probably, was it 3 centimeters? I don't know. I probably said it in another video. I think my largest one was something like 3 or 5. I can't remember now, but it's probably in another video. So I thought maybe it would work. It worked partially, but not enough to stop that bleeding, which was my main symptom. And, you know, before I had the IUD, I think I talked about that got expelled when the fibroids grew. So that it kept the bleeding down as well. But with my uterus having this, you know, irregular shape due to the fibroids, I just don't feel like it makes sense to try to do that again, because I don't know if y'all ever had an IUD expelled, but it was horrific. That's a whole nother story. I don't know if I told y'all that, but yikes. That's a whole nother awful, painful, crazy. I mean, it looked like a murder scene in that bathroom, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was, and super painful. So I don't want to go through that again. I don't know, ladies. You know, I think when I get settled with everything I've been doing, I might go and see about that myomectomy, or it was called some kind of myomectomy where, like I said, they could shave the fibroids down so that at least the lining of your uterus wouldn't be so distorted. That's kind of my most hopeful solution. I don't know if that's really possible, but that's it, ladies. If you have any other questions, let me know. So sorry it took me so long for the update, ladies. I wish it was better news, but it has been a crazy year. You hear me? But I am thankful at least for that one doctor who ended up being a little nutty, but who got me those iron transplants. No, iron infusions. Iron transplants, who got me those iron infusions and actually got me on the path to at least this much wellness. So I'm feeling better, no pain unless I don't take those meds, that progesterone. All right, ladies, I hope that's helpful. Wishing all of you guys well from the bottom of my heart. I hope your procedures work. I hope you're feeling great after them. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, ladies. Okay.